seen. You're all I need. You're all I need. Yeah. So now I'm learning to walk in your steps, and through the valley of confusion I've been losing my apprehension with death. But you said let me lead you, let me take you by the hand, so I can feed you from a good and precious land. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you, freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you, do what you promised to, and I'm so grateful for your love. And all my eyes have seen the wonders of your mystery received. I've tasted what it means. Now nothing else is good enough for me. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. Oh, I need you. Yeah, I need you. Oh, I need you now. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you, freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you, do what you promised to, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your love. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I need you in my life. I need you now.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We are live in the studio. We're here on a Tuesday night. We're live. This is what we do. We're streaming. We're in the building. I'm glad to have you all here this evening. It's a Tuesday night, and this is what we do. So make sure you guys hit that like button and share the video. Before we get into it, we got to hit the intro. You know what it is. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion. Won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Yes. That is the intro. You are watching Young Lion TV, and you know what that means. That means it's time to have a conversation, talk about some stuff that's been going on in the world, going on in the country, going on in the zeitgeist, in the culture, all of those things. We're going to get into a lot of that this evening. And if you're new here, welcome to the Pride of the Young Lions. This is our community that we started a long time ago. We've been kind of in the music business since we were teenagers and traveling around the world together and made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of dumb stuff, and grew and learned a lot along the way, became a lot closer to our faith and closer to Jesus Christ. And we started having deeper conversations and challenging each other and really challenging our ideas on what manhood was, what fatherhood was, what priority should be for men, being husbands, being good brothers and good sons and all of those things. So that's kind of the start of this entire journey that we went on with Young Lion TV and the Young Lion podcast. So just to give you a little backstory about that, but if it's something that you think needs to continue, we do need people's support. So get on over to the Patreon. Link is in the description, and you can sign up and become a member over there. And join the community, join the Pride. We do live shows. We get together. We have a great time. We love each other, and it's a community of believers and just good people. Not everybody thinks and believes exactly the same, but we do encourage a life that follows Jesus Christ. But the community is really just about people that want to be better and want to love on each other. So, like I said, join the Patreon over there. Also, if you want to just throw a little donation, the cash tag is in the description as well. And we have a merch site where it's our band's website where you can get like this hat, this shirt. It's all on the merch site there. And also, I want to make an announcement about a show we got coming up. Listen, we have a dope show coming up November 1st at the City Winery in Philadelphia. We'll be in the Loft. Make sure you guys get your tickets now because that place is dope and we pack it out and they have good food and it's a good vibe and we've played there multiple times, but we're excited to be back. So go on over to citywinery.com/Philadelphia. November 1st is our show date, Jatan. There, we hope to see you guys there. We're excited to be back there, and get your tickets now for that show. But I got with me in the building my brother, my bandmate, my friend, and he is the coolest Asian that you'll ever see on a podcast. He is Mr. Simone Chang in the building. What's up? Rocking the merch as well. You got the Grateful hat on. That's the song that we played at the beginning of the show. We play it at the beginning of every show, and because we are grateful, right? Mm-hmm. Grateful for everything, even through the hard times. It's about being grateful, even when you're going through adversity, even when the country is as, in so much turmoil. It's about being grateful.
Yep.
And, so that merch right there in particular, I really love wearing that, the T-shirt, the hat, because the message that it sends projects to other people because they get to read it. And then sometimes if you're in that mindset of being a complainer or being anxious, you can see that word and it can just switch your mood, perception, your mood right on the dime. But yeah, so get that merch over there as well. And of course, we got holding down the cameras this evening. She is our mother, and we love her. She is the best producer, Miss Angelique Lopez over there. Welcome back. You took off last week because nobody was in here, so I was trying to handle it all by myself. And we got Jake and James are supposed to be calling in when they, eventually, I guess, at some point. But yeah, that we'll see when they get here. But in the meantime, again, guys, if you're in the chat, make sure you hit that like button. Share this video with your friends. The algorithm is not favorable to our type of conversation, so we need your support in order to share the video and get it out there to people to let them know that we're live. We do this completely live every week, and we'd love to do it more, but it takes the support and, just like full transparency. It takes support and a monetary situation where we can afford to do it more. So the more people that support, we could do this more often. But yeah, we do it once a week, completely live, bringing up clips, switching cameras, like doing a full-on production as some, just some friends and guys that just wanted to have some conversation. Shout out to Uncle Denny. He said, how about those Broncos?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Gotta bring it up, huh?
How about those Broncos? They had a lot of help from the officials.
Listen.
We'll say that.
Listen, you can't put yourself in that hole, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't, not score. They scored 18 unanswered points.
Yeah. You can't do that. You can't go up that much. We just can't get two halves of good football out of the Eagles.
Yeah.
We can't get it.
It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened this season.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to complain about the that last call.
There was a lot. It wasn't just the last one. There was a lot of questions.
It was the Zach Bond that was very ticky-tacky. It was the pickup of the
flag.
Yeah, pickup of the
intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uncle Denny coming in trying to start talking trash.
Starting trouble
right away. But yeah, I don't know. So speaking of football, I guess the first thing we'll get into, I'll go to...
Don't talk about Bad Bunny.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to get on because I people have been sharing a lot of things about Bad Bunny. And he was on SNL.
Yes.
Did you see his little smart comment on SNL?
Bro,
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. I'm gonna try to speed it up because SNL will definitely.
Uncle Denny said lots of upsets this weekend.
Yeah. You know what, Mom? Don't even pull up this video because I think SNL will copyright.
We gotta watch a game with you, Uncle Denny.
I'm gonna speed it up, but let's see if we can.
No, but really, I'm very excited to be doing the Super Bowl, and I know that people all around the world who love my.
So I didn't play the full clip, but this is where he says what he says. So before this, he does like this whole monologue in Spanish, right? And then he starts speaking English, and this is what he says.
Thank you. No, but really, I'm very excited to be doing the Super Bowl, and I know that people all around the world who love my music are also happy, especialmente todos los latinos.
Oh no, this is weird. Okay, he did go into it.
La latina en el mundo entero y aquí en los Estados Unidos, todas las personas que han trabajado para abrir puertas, más que un logro mío, más que un logro mío, es un logro de todos, demostrando que nuestra huella y nuestra aportación en este país nadie nunca la podrá sacar ni borrar. And if you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn.
So
you have 4 months to learn.
4 months. How about you have 4 months to learn English?
Oh my God.
His English isn't even good.
I told Jess today, if Turning Point USA, they do some worship thing during that halftime.
All the women that come to our Super Bowl party gonna be mad.
They gonna be mad.
Because we changing the channel when that come on.
Yeah, I'm not watching it for nothing.
Yeah.
It's. So I honestly don't even know anything about his music. I just know that he does, catchy things and people like him. But just watching some stuff, the stuff that he talks about, and the things that he straight up wore drag and did some devil stuff. I'm like,
we showed all that last week.
There's no way. There's no way. You should.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was him in Happy Gilmore.
What the new?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't watch it.
He's in that movie. He plays the caddy. But that's how much I don't know about Bad Bunny. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize
I
him.
didn't even know who he was.
I know the
didn't.
name, but I couldn't tell you one song.
Yeah.
And like, I know when we were in Puerto Rico, we heard his music a lot, but I couldn't pick it out to you.
Yeah.
You know, I just remember people mention it. You know.
I didn't even know a thing about him until I saw him dressed like that, and then they saying, "Oh, well, he supported Puerto Rico." Yeah, he has to make a name for himself, so he's gonna do stuff for Puerto Rico. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of people doing some breakdowns on a little bit of a connection between him and the Communist Party. So I want to bring up some of it. You can bring this one up now, Mom. This is this old man talking about it to a guy on the street.
Bad Bunny is a plan. You know who's the owner of the Bad Bunny company? Rafael Jimenez Dan, vice president of the defense of Chavez in Venezuela.
You think he's a plant, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it is. Everybody is bland. You know,
Blind,
everybody is
blind.
like this.
Blind.
Don't see the truth. They have a plan to destroy the democracy. They want everybody be comunista. Show me what happened with comunista in Venezuela, or in Cuba, or in Nicaragua. Show me what good do. Nothing.
And think about it. We were talking about this last week, like everything that he represents, everything that he portrays, you know, gender bending, breaking social norms, breaking the nuclear family norms. Sounds a lot like Marxist, sounds a lot like communist, you know.
Yeah.
And apparently the guy who owns his record label was the vice president under Chavez.
Wow.
So
He's a plant. They planted him.
So people are calling him a plant. I have another video of someone breaking it down here. Let's check this out.
I'm going to show you a video from a Latin American podcast of why this guy and the mainstream media is pushing this guy so hard to play at the
You're going to have to read these subtitles because this girl talks fast in Spanish. So hopefully you can read along. Not her, but the one on the podcast.
Super Bowl halftime show. And you're going to understand why they have him on SNL doing skits and saying to provoke, oh, learn Spanish. You have 4 months. Watch. I put English captions here.
Muerta el capitalismo. Bad Bunny es manejado por la productora Rimas Entertainment, cuyo propietario es Rafael Jiménez Dan, ex viceministro del gobierno de Hugo Chávez desde el 2006. Estoy hablando de la persona que manejó y que descubrió y que le puso dinero a Bad Bunny. ¿Por qué un militar del ejército venezolano pasa a producir música? ¿Qué carajo tiene que ver una cosa con otra?
Kind of reminds you, like, I don't know if you could read what she was saying. She was saying, why would a military need to produce music?
Yeah.
It reminds you of, like, why does the CIA or why does the Pentagon have a Hollywood budget?
Yep, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like
Or
it
the
kinda,
music that they made was linked to like the CIA, or like everybody that you know, the kids that were making the music were like, you know, kids of like military people.
Yes,
and,
the Laurel Canyon connection.
Yeah.
This guy wrote this book about all the artists that were around the Laurel Canyon area in California back in the late 50s and like 60s and stuff. Mamas and Papas. Who else? The Birds. Even I think Crosby, Stills and Nash. I think the Beach Boys. Charles Manson used to hang out over there. So many artists from that time during the hippie movement when that all took off and peace and love. Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison.
Jim
yeah.
Morrison's father was a part of the Gulf of Tonkin false flag that got us into Vietnam.
Vietnam War, yeah.
But all of these people, like, first of all, that Laurel Canyon music scene popped up out of nowhere, and it was all like built around a military installment. Even the radio station that popped up over there was like came out of nowhere. And all of these artists, all of them the mamas and papas, all these people, their parents or them directly were connected to military. And when you look at all of their music was about like counterculture, revolution, communist ideas, like. And this is what this is reminding me of, like when military gets involved in music and pushing the boundaries of culture and pushing sexualized ideas and destroying the nuclear family, all of those things.
Yeah. I heard, I don't know Spanish like that.
Yeah.
Took a couple years in high school.
You took Spanish 4, right? Weren't we in Spanish 4 together?
I did, but you know,
Miss
bro,
Vogelsong, bro. You don't remember?
they start speaking. It's so hard to understand.
Tu no recuerdes?
Hola, clase, hoy es. That was our, you know.
Nah, Miss Vogelsong ain't. Miss Vogelsong was from Costa Rica.
Yeah,
She-
Vogelsong was.
was
Was she Spanish 4?
Yeah, she was Spanish 4. Well, maybe you didn't. She was 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Wait,
I didn't have I only had Vogelsong Spanish 2.
so then you weren't it. What did we have Bickford? 3?
Bigfoot was 1.
Nah, dude, because I had some other lady Spanish 1. Bickford was Spanish 2. I think I had Vogelsong for 3 and 4.
I think I had Miss Bigford Spanish. I don't. You remember better than
Yeah.
me, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, because Vogelsong was definitely like Spanish. I remember having her for Spanish 4 because she wouldn't speak English in the class.
Yeah, that's Spanish 4.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I dropped it and took a study.
That's probably why I remember you there because
I started
Yes.
it. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I don't need this. I'm gonna take another study hall.
Yeah, because
I took so many study halls.
Bickford was 3 though, dude. I remember
Was
that.
she?
Yeah, Bickford was 3.
Yeah, I definitely took 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway.
What was I saying? I don't know his music, but you know, you were talking about the sexual. I don't know what else he says like that can link to communism, but you know, from people that I know speak Spanish, they say that his music is very.
Well, they just said
They
it right there, that
sexualize
he's
everything.
That's communist. What
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's going to go into it a little bit more. I'll play a little bit more of what she says because she kind of goes into the sexualized aspect of it.
Se llama gente sí, cultura.
Cultural Marxism.
Ya no va a ser de clase. Ahora vámonos a través de la cultura a erosionar la identidad de género.
Gender identity.
Vamos a erosionar la
Erode faith.
Vamos entonces a introducir todo este bombardeo sexual, identitario.
Sexual identity.
Y además vamos a ir contra los Estados Unidos, que es
Going
la
against the
realidad
United
del
States.
comunismo latinoamericano.
So now you know, and if you go back to the beginnings of Bad Bunny, before he was known anywhere and he was in Puerto Rico making music, this is what he looked like, just like a normal rapper. Kind of cute even, and he used to wear a crucifix. Like, it's so weird. He was even photographed wearing
at this.
this in 2020.
Is that not AI? What is that? Wearing the Make America Great Again? Oh, wait, what is that? Make Puerto Rico Great Again?
I don't know.
Make...
Can't say that.
That isn't America. I can't tell what it says.
21. But one day he took off his crucifix and started doing this and throwing hand symbols and wearing whatever that is on his forehead, which we know. So in my opinion, I think he met the wrong people and sold his soul for fame and other things. That's him. Who's that?
Yep, they got tapes on him. They got tapes on him with the baby oil. That's why. That's how you get in the Super Bowl parties.
That's how you do it.
That's how you get to headline the Super Bowl. And then you think about like who's in charge of getting the acts. Rock Nation, Jay-Z. You know Jay-Z is about that Marxist agenda.
Yeah. If he says that he's in the Illuminati, you can believe him. Charlemagne.
Yeah.
A lot of Puerto Ricans are blind.
Oh yeah, they love because this is why. And me and Jake have talked about this because they worship their identity over God. They the fact that they're Puerto Rican matters more to them. To see another Puerto Rican doing something, they worship that over than honoring God.
Yeah.
And Puerto Ricans like they have a lot of pride in being Puerto Rican. You know,
Yeah.
you see it with the parades. You see, I mean, a lot of us, all the Latin American places. Like they have a lot of, but Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and they seem to be even more like very just prideful about.
I have never been involved in any of that.
I know, Mom. It's crazy.
Right? It's like
I think that's why like we're not like indoctrinated in those ways, because when we were younger, you know, you're trying to find your identity, and I remember like going to the parades and like, do I fit, like trying to figure out, do I fit in here? No, I don't fit in here.
Yeah.
And
I never went to those things.
Yeah, but I mean, when we were younger, you know, you're trying to find your
Yeah, I
tribe,
know.
and we're hanging around other Puerto Ricans, and you're Puerto Rican, so it's like we want to fit in and we want to connect with people over our shared culture, but we didn't really grow up like that. Like we had other Puerto Rican friends in our neighborhood that we were friends with, but their home culture was clearly Puerto Rican, and ours wasn't.
Yeah.
I guess because we were mixed, you know, but yeah. But you kind of deal with that too. Like you're like an outcast in the Asian culture.
I sure am.
You know, which is interesting. It's always interesting to me, and I've brought this up to you ever since we were young, because I notice how cliquey Asians are, and how like they all know each other, they all hang around each other, they're, you know, or they have like someone in common.
Well, there's a lot of Filipinos. We see that, you know, with the Filipinos definitely stick together.
Yeah, Cambodians too, though.
They do, but where was the Cambodians in Williamstown?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why John, I can't understand it. He is a
John
Filipino.
John just he connected with them and they adopted him in.
No, but it's like that's what he hangs with the whole time.
But you know what's interesting about that, and I've had this conversation with him too, is like, yeah, you're their friend, but I still feel like he could never be like in the inner circle.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like you could never be, when it comes down to it, brought into the inner. You know what I mean? Like they'll bring in outsiders, you know,
Right.
not blacks, but
It's like the chief of war. They
Yeah.
brought in that white dude.
yeah.
He's teaching
them English,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, but
Yeah.
he's not.
No, he's not a, you know, native. Even now, Hawaiians don't look as the mainlanders as like.
There's a word. I forgot the word. Because me and Jess, we've been watching that show.
Yeah.
Witches.
Yo, it's dope, right?
Crazy.
It's dope. Wait till you get to where I'm at, bro. It's crazy.
We finished it.
Oh, you did. You did.
Yeah, we watched 9 episodes.
Because I had to wait every week. It comes out every week. You got to binge it.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Isn't it a really good show?
Such a good
What's
show.
that show called?
It's called Chief of War. It's on Apple TV. It's about like the ancient, not ancient, but like when the settlers first got to Hawaii, and like the way those islands were warring with each other and the different tribes. Like there was a tribe that basically every island
was like its own kingdom.
Yeah.
The island of Hawaii and then
Maui and then Kauai.
But in on each island there's like head chiefs of the island.
Wow.
And then there's like a king or
Yeah.
whatever like that rises up.
Wow.
And they're warring with each other.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows that side of, the conquering warrior type of deal. And then the white man comes in, on a ship, and there's
They introduce guns.
Yes.
And that brutality to the situation. And that last battle though.
Oh my goodness. Yo.
That was crazy, right?
Crazy.
Yeah. And they do these things to honor their gods. Each island has its own god that it believes is, our God is stronger than your God. It's very, very like they really tried to be accurate with it. I like the way they did it.
Mm-hmm. There was a word that, I don't know, you remember everything. There's a word that they use for the pale skin.
Yes.
That's the word that they still use. And Jess because she has a friend that lives in Honolulu now that she went to visit a couple years ago, actually. And they were using that word still. And she talked about how racist Hawaiians are.
Yeah.
to like any other type of culture.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Is it Kia?
what is it? No, late. Yeah, I think it starts with a L. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, Lee Kia.
Yo, but every time though, something funny. Kamehameha.
Dude, I told you about that, right? Like, Kamehameha. Yo.
Kamehameha.
Every time they were saying that, I'm
What
like,
does that
yeah.
mean?
No,
That's the name of the king.
One of the kings is named that, but
Yeah,
it's also
on
the
Hawaii.
name of Goku's Fireball in Dragon Ball Z.
And every time they said it,
Yeah.
I just think of Goku or Krillin.
I kept saying, yeah. I kept saying that to Liz while we were watching it. She's just like, I don't know what that is. And then I showed her, like, I went on X and showed her, like, Goku doing the Kamehameha. She's like, okay, great.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But great show though,
Yeah.
man. Like,
And you know, Lisa Lopez posted, "Oh, I watch Bad Bunny." You
Oh,
know.
our cousin? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, she's a proud
Oh,
Puerto
my
Rican.
God.
Yeah.
Proud Puerto Rican, yeah. But yeah, she'll be at our show. Shout out to our cousin Lisa, man. She
She
shows
says
mad
she's
love.
gonna come.
I think I saw her post something about buying tickets, yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to see because John, I asked him. He was like, "Oh, I don't know."
Uncle Dan, you coming to our show? Come to Philly.
Okay. So yeah. Went
Great
on a little
show.
tangent there. Great show.
Sorry, I
What-
started.
why did we get into that though?
I don't know.
We were talking about
What we were talking about?
communism. We were talking about
Oh, okay.
Bad Bunny.
We were talking about Bad Bunny. What linked it though?
You're talking about Puerto Rican pride and all that. So there's pride in each of the Hawaiian different areas. You know.
Oh no, we were talking about because we were talking about like in-group preference. That's how we got there. We
Yeah.
We're talking about in-group preference. I was talking about how Asians are very
Oh, yeah.
inclusive.
Yeah.
Like they don't like
And
a lot of
then
outsiders.
Linked it to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Hawaiian say.
Right.
Right.
I mean, honestly, that's every.
That's what I say.
Culture,
That's what I'm
man.
saying. Like
that's
people
every-
want to
They stay together.
right. It's called in-group preference.
Yeah.
Like we all do it.
Yeah.
We all do it, and people have, created this idea of white supremacy and racism and all of that, but will not acknowledge their own prejudices and in-group preferences. Like that's natural. Like it's okay for someone to say, "Oh, I'm starting a black-owned business. I'm only gonna hire black people. I'm
Yep.
not hiring nobody else."
Yep.
And people, that's totally
And
fine.
It's okay for that, but imagine a white guy saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if we look at our in-group preferences for what's the first in-group preference? Your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's limited resources available to anyone, the first thing they're going to take care of is their household,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
That's going to be your preference to only care about them.
Yep.
And then it expands out from there. Then it's, your extended family. Then it's your friends. Then it's maybe your neighborhood, maybe your community. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that happens to be your community is only the people in your culture, like we only see that a problem with certain races
Yeah.
for some reason, because everybody does that.
Yeah.
Everybody does that. It's like it's something kind of psychologically innate in us. I'm not saying it's a good thing and we should be doing that, but I'm saying like to pretend like we don't all suffer from that
Yeah.
is disingenuous.
Yeah, and you're lying to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Disingenuous.
But yeah, I want to keep going on this idea of cultural Marxism, gender fluidity. I want to show this little clip from Netflix that I saw of this comedian making jokes about their transgenderism.
Factory default
There's going to be a little bit of language on this, so brace yourself.
factory default vaginas are the divine gateway of life. Our species could not exist without them. I will never take that away from you because I don't want to. And also, there are plenty of things an aftermarket vagina can do that a stopped vagina cannot. Like destroy the fabric of Western civilization as we know it. Only my pussy does that. Only my pussy can murder the little baby Jesus before he even has a chance to start an apocalyptic death cult and ruin the world. That's miracle pussy. That is how I define good pussy.
This is disgusting. I don't even want to watch it, bro.
We gotta watch this.
I was just showing it to make it a point.
Yeah, and they're joking about it.
They think it's funny,
but it's the truth
to joke about, people's reaction to you and this idea that you can be a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Destroying
You can
Western
destroy
civilization.
Western civilization. Yeah, because you can't reproduce.
Yeah.
It's not natural.
And this little joke about murdering baby Jesus before he has a chance to start a death cult and ruin the world. Again, Christianity can catch all the strays.
Yeah.
Christianity can catch all the strays. They would never make these jokes about
if you say something about
Islam
or Islam,
Right?
Yeah.
it's hate. It's hate crime.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know what's funny? I just saw a comedian make that joke too. Let me see if I can find it because I had just saw that and it was funny. He was talking about being a Christian and how transgenders take him. Let me see.
Transgender. Yeah, that's so vulgar.
Yeah.
I don't like watching stuff like that. You know the name of the comedian?
I can't. I wasn't. I was listening to it, and it was one of those things where it just came on. I didn't even look at it, but it was funny, and it just came to my mind as we're listening to this person, talk about baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
Yeah. Huh. It's not a big deal. I'll send it to y'all if I find it at another time.
You guys ever heard I know somebody who is Venezuelan.
Mm-hmm.
And like during Christmas time, he told his we were talking about Santa Claus type of thing.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he didn't tell his kids, he told his kids Santa Claus is fake, but baby Jesus is the one that brings the gifts, and baby Jesus, he can go through walls. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
Or that's the first time I ever heard.
No.
Like the magical thing is baby Jesus. He's the one that brings gifts, to the kids.
I never heard of this.
So I don't know if it's just his family or.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
No. Wasn't sure if that was transcended through the Latin culture.
Nope.
Or it's just a Venezuelan thing.
Probably, because I never heard of it.
All right, well, let's keep down the same path because we're talking about, cultural Marxism. We're talking about communism, and there seems to be like these themes of communism rising up on the left. You got Zohan or whatever his name is, Mamdani, and listen to this. Listen to Jamal Bowman, former Democrat in Congress, talk about this. Listen to what he says here.
Brown people from different backgrounds, the word socialism is weaponized as some kind of, anti-American thing. And, Senator Gillibrand and others seem to have fallen victim to that level of ignorance and miseducation.
Socialism
You just gotta laugh about it. It's like
is being framed as an anti-American thing.
It's been weaponized.
Weaponized. And we're falling victim to it.
oh my god.
Yeah. This is what they're slowly trying to usher in. Let's listen to Zohan speak on his ideas right here.
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence at the highest level.
Oh, so you can determine.
Yeah.
You can determine what is violence.
These people don't want to stop crime, bro.
It's
like you look at what's going on in Chicago.
Dude, I saw something, and I think we've talked about it before. They make money federally.
Wow.
They get like something. I just saw something just actually today. They get funding.
Yeah, Brandon Johnson, he didn't want to federalize Chicago because he would lose $800 million.
That's what it was, $800 million. That's the exact number.
You do wonder. Why do they not want crime to stop? Because that. They get
and
paid, they get money
you
for
see
it.
the trend, California,
That's horrible.
They don't want to stop it. It's like you incentivize people to shoplift.
Yeah.
You incentivize people to do crazy stuff. Not the business owners, that's trying to have something for the community and bring economy.
That's what people are talking about in Chicago, that there have been active gangs just racketeering and terrorizing these communities for decades, and they don't do anything about it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to live like that?
Tim Pool is from Chicago. He's like, bring him.
Yeah.
Bring them.
Yeah.
And then there's videos of people's like, they want them there.
Right. Right. I think I have one of those videos. Let me see. Oh yeah. Here you go, right here. It's them arriving in Chicago.
That's the area we stay at.
Mm-hmm. And there's, videos of people thanking them for being there, happy that they're there.
I can't remember where I saw this video. This one guy spit in one of those soldiers' face.
Oh, that was an ICE agent in Portland.
And he took him down.
Yeah, I have that video too. Yeah.
You think you can just do whatever you want?
Yeah, they've been getting away with it forever.
He warned them too, right?
Yeah. Let me see. I think I have it right here. Actually, let me see. Yeah.
Listen, I like the no nonsense.
Yeah, that's the one.
You guys don't belong here! Go back to the fucking South where you belong! You are protecting the pedophile! You are protecting the
These people are wild, man.
That's hate, bro.
Get out of our city! Get out of our state! Get out of here, bitch! Get out of our state!
Oh yeah.
That guy's covering it.
Yeah.
You can't see what they're doing to him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, he asked for that.
I know.
He asked for that. I mean, it's a problem. And this is one of the things I want to talk about is like, you see this escalation getting worse and worse and worse. Like Brandon Johnson does that executive order to basically try to make it illegal for ICE agents to operate in Chicago, and then Trump goes to the Supreme Court to get the ruling that he's allowed to deploy agents. And you have states like California, you got Chicago, you got Portland openly defying, like being sanctuary cities, openly defying what the federal government is doing, what the people voted for, that they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, where does this go? Where is this headed? It feels like the division is too great at this point. Like, it's hard to see a place where all of this settles down and where we come back from this, because you look at like the reaction after Charlie Kirk. You look at did you guys hear about the guy that they exposed in Chicago that put a hit out on one of the immigration enforcers there? I'll play that story in a little bit, but yeah, like you look at stuff like that. They're using the cartel is openly putting up signs in Mexico saying, you know, that they're gonna actively kidnap and basically take out their frustration on American tourists in Mexico over what Cash Patel and the FBI is doing, stopping them from being able to make a lot of their deliveries in the U.S. Yeah, they were putting up signs in Mexico.
Wow.
People reported on this. I saw it on X. And then the Mexican government went in and took them down right away because they don't want to cause, you know, people to
tourism.
That's one of their biggest markets.
Yeah.
And then you got what looks like to be them using the Latin King influence in Chicago to hire someone to put a hit out on a federal agent to stop them from enforcing, you know, the law here. Like, it's getting wild.
It's
Charlie Kirk was just killed. The reaction to that, people acting like celebrating it, you know. I was thinking about this, like, if they imagine someone puts a hit out on Tom Holman, you don't think people would cheer? You don't think people would be celebrating, laughing?
Yeah, of course they would. It's sad. It's sad. Back to the cartel thing. Like, it always seemed like to me, like every time you went to Mexico, it's like because, you know, it seems like Mexico's really corrupt with like all the assassinations of like people running for office.
Absolutely.
Every time we went to Mexico, it was because I remember like the first time we were gonna go and people were like, "Oh, you're going to Mexico," but we never had no problems going to Mexico. And I always thought about it as like, do they just built that Esclaret, it's like a theme park with fake cenotes type of thing, and it was huge. I went there for the honeymoon, and it cost mad money to do it. And it's like, where are they getting this money? You know, do you think that the cartel, like,
I mean, but they make a ton of money off tourism, bro. A ton.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this cartel, is there a line, you know, that the government?
Well, some people believe that they're like, you know how like Vegas was run by the mob.
Yeah, right.
You know, a lot of people, and Atlantic City. So a lot of people believe that it's all kind of commingled.
This area, this line here, you guys
don't
do anything.
No, like they own, like they're part of it.
Wow.
So they're not going to do anything there because that's part of their business too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're not going to mess that up. So yeah, but to see them putting up those signs in Mexico.
Yeah, it's gonna scare people from going there.
Yeah. But in this country, I mean, Portland, I have a video here of Portland. It says, unbelievable footage. Witness Portland PD giving advice to Antifa terrorists how to avoid federal troops. Let's watch this.
It's okay. It's all right. Get them the fuck out of here. You don't want to take sort of his belly. We're trying something else real quick. So the judge ran into ERUPTS. I'm the one who got stabbed in 2023. I hope he gets stabbed again. You ain't got the balls to do it. That's a death threat. You ain't got the balls to do it. That's a death threat. You ain't got the balls to do it, so keep yapping your mouth like a That's a death threat. Why don't you go arrest him? Harder for the judge. You arrest me for protesting in the street. We have a good reason why we actually need them. So that's why we're asking people to get out of the street. Is it illegal for us to get out of the street? They could arrest you, but we're asking you guys voluntarily. Let's just get on the sidewalks Because if a car comes through and hits somebody, it's a better way for the government to say we need defense.
And we do definitely need the feds. We definitely need the feds in here because your mayor is terrible. It's giving you terrible orders. You guys should.
So they're openly giving them advice on how to avoid the feds from being in there. Like, it's wild.
It's the wild, wild west, baby.
It's wild. Yeah. I don't know. There's a journalist that was out there in Portland, and he was reporting on Antifa protesting out there, and then one of them attacked him because he had a camera, and then he got arrested. Nick Sorter, I don't know if you ever heard of Nick Sorter.
Sounds familiar.
He's always posting stuff on X.
So he got arrested.
He got arrested.
That's the thing, is like, people who destroy stuff, they don't ever get in trouble.
Why do you think that is? Who do you think is making sure that those people stay funded, stay with the ability to cause trouble? I mean, we showed the video on here where they were supplying them. What was the thing? The gas mask, the tear mask. Like,
that was found in Walmart.
Yeah. Who's supplying that? Who's giving a whole truckload of them for them to pass around?
Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
This is so horrible. It's like we have to pray.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I mean,
Seriously.
the division. I mean, they are actively trying to bring in some kind of civil war situation or something. You know, I hate
think
to
that's
say it.
What I was talking about earlier, the prayer thing that's going on in DC this Saturday.
Yeah.
Probably gonna head down with the wife and
that's a good idea, man.
Our nation.
I'm glad that they're doing that. Listen to Brandon Johnson trying to pretend like it's the Republicans trying to create a civil war.
I said very candidly that the right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now, because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
That's right.
He's more interested in giving billions of dollars to other nations, while farmers in urban cities around this country are literally being destabilized. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's through executive order, or whether it's through the brave women and men who are serving as rapid responders. We literally have people who are volunteering in this city, on the southwest side, the northwest side, all over this city, to make sure that we're protecting children from being separated from their families. And we're talking about volunteers who are literally putting themselves at risk of being shot and killed by the federal government. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's our continuous struggle for liberation through organizing, and whether it's through executive action, or whether it's through law, it would be nice if we actually had lawmakers in Washington that would actually hold this president accountable. And if they won't do it, then the city of Chicago will, using every single tool that's available to us.
This guy, you're talking about somebody who has been openly bringing in illegal migrants to his city, not caring about the citizens of his city at all, to the point where they did do an ICE raid on one of those communities. I don't know if you guys heard about that, and it like made the news because it was in a black community, and everybody was all outraged because they had to empty out a whole apartment complex because there was a bunch of known gang members in there, like 30-something gang members in there that they had to get out. There were Tren de Aragua. So they had to clear the building first. So they bring everyone out, of course, at first, and then they detain them, and then they find out who's who. They let the people that aren't there go. So they start spinning this narrative that we told you they was going to be rounding up black people. They're rounding up black babies. They're putting babies in zip ties, all just making up lies, you know. I think I hear James. James, are you on? Okay, Mom, can you bring him up, please? Thank you. What's up, bro?
What's going on?
What's up, man? Yeah, we just getting into this Chicago situation, the Chicago mayor.
Uncle Denny said no one's being punished for their crimes. That creates chaos.
Exactly. I mean, and then he's talking about the right wing wants a civil war. When people are openly assassinating people, tried to assassinate the president, assassinated Charlie Kirk, open fire on an ICE facility in California.
Who's
Open
been
fire
the
on
most violent?
Open fire on an ABC affiliate in California because of Jimmy Kimmel. Open fire on a ICE truck and killed migrants by accident.
Left.
Yeah, but it's the right wing that wants a civil war, and they're openly defying the orders the federal orders that we all voted for. We wanted immigration handled in this country. A lot of people, most of his constituents in Chicago want immigration handled.
Yeah,
and you're defying
it's
it.
taking money, taking their tax monies from and not being used for the city.
Yeah,
you're worried about people not from there.
Right. Exactly.
James, your head is cut off.
Top of your head is cut off a little bit. I don't know. Is that? Do you see yourself fully in your camera?
I see. Yeah, I see myself. Yeah.
Now it's good.
I was thinking it might have been the cropping that I have in there, but
No, it's all good.
Okay.
Plus, I mean, I just jumped on, but part of the issue with these big cities is, they get over 800 million a year in federal.
We were just saying this,
We were just saying that.
Especially Brandon Johnson, that's what he's gonna lose.
They want crime.
Yeah, same thing with California.
Yeah.
The what's his name? Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, when he was being questioned in deposition, he said they received $6 billion towards not New York, just the migrant crisis.
Yeah.
We're still referring to that. You know what I mean? $6 billion. Yep. Now, do I believe that those migrants got $6 billion worth of help, or do I believe that there was a big money laundering operation?
Of course, it was money laundering.
So that's what they're doing. That's what they're up to.
Conspiracy theorists.
Man, it's a fact.
They gave them I would say a couple. If I'm being conservative, I would say, or another conservative. If I'm being a little liberal, I would say they would maybe a couple $100,000 worth of money, but the rest of it,
yeah.
There's no way. Like we talked about California. It's $4 billion to fix the homeless problem, and you're talking about bigwigs that are making $400,000 or $500,000 a year. They don't want to fix this problem. They're never going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just talking about this with Moan. James, I want to get your thoughts on it because we're seeing all of this. We're seeing how people are kind of living in two totally separate realities, and they're completely feeding themselves with whatever narrative they want to believe is true, and they're just running with it, and they're not willing to listen to the other side. They easily can just dismiss anything that doesn't fit their narrative. And then you're watching our political officials completely defy federal rules, federal laws, federal mandates. Where do you see this headed to? Where do you think? What is your expectation?
Well, first I would say there's really no repercussions for them not fulfilling the oath that they took to abide by the American law and uphold and really effectively run the office of mayor or governor. There's no consequence for them. You know what I mean?
So what if we start seeing consequences? What if these people start being held accountable, start being arrested for violating law, for lying in front of Congress like they should be arrested for? We watched it happen under Trump's administration. We watched them openly arrest Paul Manafort and all these people. Steve Bannon. They tried to arrest Trump. They did arrest Trump. They tried to get him locked in prison.
The famous mugshot.
If he starts taking that same approach with them for valid reasons, obviously, because a lot of these people are breaking laws, even though that's what they're accusing him of doing. But he keeps winning in court, showing that he's not breaking laws.
What do you think that they would say,
But
JB?
this is what I'm saying. All they're going to say is, see, we
He's
told
a
you he was a
dictator.
dictator,
Right.
authoritarian
Right.
fascist.
Sure.
It's a banana
Sure.
republic.
He's using his arm of the Department of Justice to take out his political enemies, and they're just going to stir up their base even further into more divide and more reasons why they're going to cheer if something happens to him. They're going to cheer if anything happens to Tom Holman, if something happens to Kristi Noem, if something happens to Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. They're going to cheer it because they're being told that these people are dictators, demonic, evil. So how do we not end up in a civil... Like, are we not in a civil strife situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like what people did in DC once Trump declared that we're going to clean up the city, there were actual citizens that went out and filmed and were interactive with their saying, "Hey, we like this."
Mm-hmm.
Now, social media is going to be a big part of this because social media can suppress and maybe not want people doing that, as they'll say, like what they're doing in Canada right now. One of the police chiefs just said, if you get robbed, let the robber do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
A part of the fear of what these people, especially in the liberal cities, the mayors, they know, because I've seen plenty of videos with those Chicagoans going in on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the veil of what politics was specifically under the Obama era has changed, right? Now, they have to spit this kind of rhetoric and hateful kind of like dictatorship, and they have to say that about Trump, and they have to say that because if Trump comes in and cleans up Chicago in a week or two, the citizens are going to be forced to answer a question: why isn't your mayor and the people you voted for doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And their track record will be, it'll obviously they'll be exposed for really, using the office, their elected office, as a way to get rich. They don't want to fix this problem.
And I think, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but I think what we saw with the DC thing was citizens went out, started filming it. Like, if they really want change, you got to participate too, because the machine is too big, but the machine can't control everybody. You still have that. You know what I'm saying? So if there's a problem, you could go out and post it, show that there's a difference. You know what I mean?
They still ain't watching it anyway.
I just think
Trump is a dictator.
People are too leaned in, but there is a lot of people in the middle that are reasonable people. I agree with James. I think the majority are like that. Mm-hmm. And when you're on social media, sometimes you only see the loudest minority voices. Like, because even like outside of DC, I don't know if you've seen, like, there's a lot of people, and this is probably another reason why they're not talking about it, but they cleaned up Memphis. Like he sent them into Memphis, and people are actually happy with what he did there.
Yeah,
because it was horrible in Memphis.
I've seen videos and people were posting it. But I'm saying, if everybody posted, they can't delete every video. You keep reposting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't have a defeatist attitude.
Clean up our cities, man.
Yeah, and I think
if your attitude is like, well, nothing's going to happen anyway, then you're conforming to what they want you to conform. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they know that people are going to get frustrated. I mean, we were at one time, but being proactive means you got to put yourself out there. You know what I mean?
That's what it is, and we can't get pulled into nihilism of like, oh, it's gonna be like, because when you watch certain people, it's just like, we're headed towards civil war. Yeah, there's no way back.
Tim Pool been saying that for a while. Look at James talking about using social media. The guy that didn't even want an iPhone.
Yeah, that's right, man.
People put up videos.
Come on, he's a podcaster now. What you talking about?
You done came a long way, my brother.
Speaking of social media,
I mean, that's one way to do it.
There's a lot of things on social media that get spun up, and especially on TikTok. TikTok is so annoying for this, and I just want to show y'all this clip that was going crazy. And I was seeing this picture posted every time people were talking about this Chicago raid, every time people were talking about, look what Trump is doing. We told y'all. They were posting this picture. Pull this up, Mom. I don't know if James, can you see this?
Yes, I can see it.
You see the picture? It's a picture, and they were saying they're zip tying little babies. They're zip tying babies.
Oh,
Look, the
boy.
little black babies.
What is it from?
Why would you need to do this? Why would you do this to a baby? This is insane. So let me just play. This is an example, okay?
I want you to really break this down to me like I'm 10 years old and tell me why ICE agents zip tying black babies in Chicago, because I can't for the life of me understand why this happened. Why was this necessary? These are...
So I seen this video and it's all over TikTok and Instagram. So I had to do my research. And what did I find?
Go fucking.
Turn the audio off so we don't get copyrighted. This is a dad and his son playing cops and robbers, and he's pretending to arrest his son. They're playing. And somebody took the screenshot of this. Now,
my video.
Look.
Of me and my son playing cops and robbers.
That's his video.
This is us.
Even he had to come out and say something like, "Yo, y'all are trying to use," and it was. I'm telling you, like, I had to do, because I did research too, because I'm like, when you see the picture, you're like, "Yo, this looks bad." This looks bad.
Jamie, make sure he's on the right side of it.
Yeah, I'm like, this looks bad. But I know how fake the TikTok. I know how fake people like, and people will jump to conclusion, and it's like a grainy screenshot. It's like, come on, bro. Like, and I'm doing my best to find the full video, and I found it.
If that was real, that kid would be screaming.
You know,
if that was real, that kid would be screaming, bro. But that's what I'm saying. That was my point earlier. If you see, if you allow that's propaganda, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you allow propaganda to spread, and your attitude is like, oh well, I don't believe it, but I'm not going to do anything about it. That guy said he's going to do something. That's what I'm saying. Social media is here, whether we like it or not. You have to use it yourself, because if nobody does anything, that thing takes off like a wildfire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That image right there. If no one checks that, or no one says, hold on here, wait a minute, and that's just allowed to just filter itself, bro, that thing turns into a powder keg like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why it's important, because if you don't have people willing to put themselves out there and be like, I'm going to fact check this, I'm going to spend the time, that thing takes on and becomes a weapon like you wouldn't believe it would be. You know what I mean?
We've seen that with so many other hoaxes that got spread around faster than the truth could get spread around.
Yeah.
And then once they find out that it was a hoax, they just stop talking about it, and it just fades away. Now, we don't want to touch that one no more. You know,
like the
the only thing that would be better, the only thing that would make this video great is if somebody posted or put Jesse Smollett's face on the baby.
Yo, that's what Moan just said. He's like, yeah, bro, that's what we need to do. We need to make a meme of this little baby, and he's got like a Subway sandwich.
Baby saying not again.
Do you know? I watched the Netflix. They have a Jussie Smollett
documentary
on this whole thing. He's still standing his ground, bro.
Come on, man.
And they try to keep it neutral too. They try to keep it neutral.
You gotta let it go at this point, bro. Like, come on. The Osundairo brothers have been all over everything. They got the
Nobody
receipts.
believes them.
Yeah, he tries to like use their characters. Do they want to be famous, or it's wild.
But he don't outright say it. He just kind of insinuates.
Yeah,
exactly. Because he knows if he says it outright, he could get sued for slander.
Yeah,
and defamation.
Yep. It's. I saw it. I just wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, how are they gonna frame this? I know it's Netflix.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about Bad Bunny and how he's Is Jake on? No, I don't think Jake. Jake, are you on?
Yeah, he's on.
Oh, okay.
He's on.
Oh, can you click the there we go. Boom, got them both. There we go. Have you been watching any of what we were talking about, Jake? We don't hear you.
Sorry, I was having an issue getting back to the screen. No, I just got home.
Oh, okay. Well, you missed the funny moment. We were showing this this viral screenshot that was going around where people were spreading this image of.
Oh wait, was it? Let me think. Was it a boy in handcuffs?
Yes, they were trying to
Okay,
say he was being zip tied by ICE.
Yeah. When it was
Not
actually
not
a
our
video
black
of
babies.
a
Bro,
son
and
and a father.
yes, playing cops and robbers, and I saw it everywhere. And all I kept doing every time I would see someone post that photo, I would reply to it with the original video.
Yeah,
just to be like, "Yo, what are you
Yeah.
doing?" You know.
Yeah.
But isn't that proof that people see what they want to see, and no matter how much proof you give them, the only thing we can do, I mean, certain people, their minds will never change, but you're just correcting falsities. At this point in time, you're posting it just so the people who are suspicious would be like, oh, this is nonsense. You know what I mean?
I'll give you an example. I just came back from a game, right?
Uh-huh.
And a soccer game. The parents were going crazy because of they thought was a foul, something that was a foul. And the girl literally had hit our girl from the back. There was no call. Then the other girl gets in front of her and blocks her, and then the girl runs into her, and the parents go crazy. It was so bad that the ref stopped the game and told the coach to go over to them.
Wow.
But I was saying to the other coach, I was like, they didn't see the foul before when the girl, their own girl, literally hit our girl in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Right? They only saw that our girl stepped in front, and that wasn't even a foul. That was legal. And I think it's the same thing. We see what we want to see.
Yeah.
It's always like, if you got favorites, that's where your focus is, right? And everybody else, everything they do is wrong. And,
I'm gonna ask you. I've been asking these two guys because we're looking at the state of everything that's happening right now. I'm gonna lay it out again. So you look at, you look at the assassination attempt on President Trump. You look at Charlie Kirk being killed, and the reaction, the laughter, and the mockery after the fact, and the blaming and the pointing fingers. You look at Trump trying to clean up these cities and getting it federally mandated, and now having the Supreme Court on his side saying he can do it, deploying federal troops to these cities to get them cleaned up, and then you have these mayors and these governors making executive orders, making it illegal for them to operate in their cities. You got Gavin Newsom defying the orders and talking about they can't wear masks, and then we were just showing videos of in Portland where they were actively showing Antifa how to avoid bringing the feds in. The police department was showing them. And then you have a journalist in Portland who was attacked by Antifa, but then he got arrested. The ICE facility being shot up, the ABC affiliate being shot up in California. It seems like we're in the middle of some kind of political strife in this country, like where people just are so divided and so dug in to their belief and their ideology that they don't even want to have this conversation anymore. They don't want to try to have common ground. Look at the government shutdown right now. They can't even agree on a bill that the Democrats have been signing off on for the last 4 years. They didn't bring no big omnibus bill. It was a standard budget bill to keep the budget going, but they wanted to insert some funding for healthcare for legal immigrants. The Republicans wouldn't accept that. No one wants to budge. Now the government's been shut down for a few days, and they're both blaming each other. Everyone's blaming the other side. Where do you think we are, and what's your analysis of all of this?
You're asking me?
Yeah, because I already asked them, so I'm asking you now.
I mean, I think we're in spiritual war And I think more than ever, believers need to not get caught up in choosing sides
Mm.
in the wrong way, because it can be easy to do that. Like it's easy. I just said it's easy to, you got your team and you're like looking at what the other team does wrong.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, I told the coach that your team's really good. You have a really good team. I was saying that over and over to the girls, and I don't even care if they like think they're better. The point I'm making is that you have to be able to see justly,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to, and where there's frustration and where there's strife, or you see strife trying to come in, those are the places of the battle where the devil is trying to deem for power, get power in those areas. And we're not going to get it by simply just going back and forth. But we have to humbly go to those places, speak the truth in love, but also pray and know what we're going up against.
That's why I told Jamie we have to pray.
Yeah, it's definitely a spiritual battle that we're in right now. We said it when Charlie Kirk died, right? It's a spiritual battle. And I think that's why a lot of people are going back to church.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to point fingers. And am I saying don't call out the stuff that needs to be called? Yeah. But I see people like choosing sides where that's where we go into civil war.
Mm.
That's where it can escalate, because then when the talking stops, then there's nothing else but war, right? Physical war.
Well, so what do you say to, the assassinations, the actual violence, the actual bombing of facilities, shooting up places, like, the talking, the talking is not wanted on one side, it seems.
Yeah.
So
The violence violence is on one side, but it's blamed on another side.
Yeah.
But isn't that what the devil does? Like, I mean, I don't think it's pretty obvious. So yeah, we can recognize that, but if you say, "Oh, look at who's doing it," okay, yeah, and my point is that yeah, you can recognize it, okay, but now what are our strategies? Like moving forward, how do we deal with this? You gotta continue to push. People are seeing what they weren't seeing. There's a lot of people who last year couldn't see what they're seeing now. I think the darker it gets, if the more you shine your light, the more you humble yourself to God and don't get caught up in pride and wanting to prove your point, the light shines. The light of righteousness shines. The light of God shines. And that's what causes people to see more and more. There's no... what a martyr... Do you guys know what martyr means?
No, like the etymology of it?
Yeah.
I know what martyr means, but what you mean the etymology?
I mean the etymology, where it comes from. It simply means witness.
Mm.
So to be a witness... I brought this up at church before. To be a witness of Christ is truly in the places of frustration, in the places where you want to justify yourself. Those are the places where God wants to come into, but we got to allow him in. So that means we got to humble ourselves, right?
Mm.
And we got to turn to him. Those are the places where we're fearful, because we don't know how to do it. We don't know what to say. There's no more talking, right? But how do we engage in those areas? And I think that's where we turn to God. That's the repentance, not just for us, but for others. Asking for forgiveness, not just for us, but for others, right? Jesus got on the cross, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do,
Mm-hmm.
right? He came into our space, right? He occupied our space and they killed him, and he got on the cross and said, forgive them. He repented on behalf of them in the middle of them killing him, crucifying him. And that's not only there's no way you can't do that. How do you even see that without seeing Christ first?
Yeah.
And who he really is. We can't do that. We got no way to do that out of our own nature.
Yeah, Simone said that people are going to Washington to pray on Saturday, and that's what is important because Second Chronicles 7:14. I always say this. The people, if they just humble themselves and pray and seek Him, He will forgive their sins, and then He says He will heal the land.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people, if they just get together and pray and turn and
Yeah.
seek the Lord.
Because I think if you think about like land is even land in us, land has to be like you even think about Israel, like it's all about this occupation, right? It's all about occupation. But what's occupying our hearts? Is it something else? Is it God? Who's occupying our hearts? And we know who's occupying our hearts when we put forth the thing that affects us the most, the thing that offends us the most. When we can't put that down, when we can't let God in, who is really occupying our hearts? Those are the places of confrontation within ourselves where God wants to come into, but we got to allow Him in. And I think you see that manifesting in the physical realm of occupation, right? What's trying to occupy this land of America?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's a good breakdown. I just want to get everybody's perspective and put that out there because we're all kind of on the same page. And I am seeing a lot of like fear mongering and people getting worked up into anxiety over civil war. I just showed a clip of Brandon Johnson saying the right wing is trying to have a rematch of the civil war because of their tactics. And, they're talking about the Trump being able to use the Insurrection Act because of how certain states are moving right now and people are freaking out. So I'll be able to make a nice clip of that to show, some balance there. All right, I want to move on to some of the stuff you sent me, Jake, which was just explain what it was first.
Well, I forget the guy's name. So this is the Perry's. One of them is the Perry's podcast, and then the other one is Lecrae, and they're kind of talking about the same type of stuff, which is connected to Charlie Kirk, what happened, and also they're talking about everything around that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they make some. I think they make some good points, and I think they make some. I think they build some straw mans.
Okay.
And they're beating up straw men, like they're beating up something that's not true.
People do that a lot.
Yeah. So.
All right. So before we get to those clips, since we're on the topic of Charlie Kirk, I want to play this real quick because we showed Charlemagne and how he's been reacting to a lot of things. And someone mentioned Andrew Schultz kind of being the voice of reason for him sometimes. And he hasn't been there because he was filming Street Fighter. So he just came back and they actually talked about the Charlie Kirk thing for the first time. So I wanted to play a little bit of that clip and then that will lead us into everything you did because this is from more of a secular, like just logical, trying to rationalize everything.
Okay.
Okay, Mom, pull this up, please.
He DM'd me before, by the way, Charlie. And he did something.
Did y'all talk? Are you?
Yeah, we had like a little interaction, and he did something that I really respect, and I understand that he is very like, you know, he's very politicized, and the algorithm has created different versions of him for different people and all that kind of stuff. But he saw a headline of me.
He said something very important there, and this is something that we're speaking to. We've been talking about. The algorithm has created different versions of him for different people, based off of what they want to believe and what they want to see of him. Isn't that interesting? How that can work?
Do you think AI is behind all this, and they're trying to
destroy us
like Terminator? Nah, I'm joking, but
no, but
that's crazy though that it can do that.
Yeah, like it can literally feed you the version of someone, especially if there's enough material of them online. It can feed you that version of someone, or of a country, or of a government, or of a president.
They know what you want,
right? They know what ideas you want, right? Yeah, exactly. But he's talking about how Charlie Kirk had DM'd him. That's what he's saying. Like Charlie Kirk had reached out to him before he died. All right, so let's get back into it.
He saw a headline of me, and we'd never spoken. He hit me up, and he was just like, hey, or maybe we had DM'd before or something like that, but they hit me and says, hey, I saw this headline. It seems like you're saying this thing. Is that what you mean? And I was like, no, they're actually taking this thing out of context, and this is what I was actually trying to say, and blah, blah. He's like,
he understood. He got it.
Bro, I cannot, there are friends, people that I would consider friends, people that I've helped, people that I've gotten visas to work in America.
A Koch?
No.
What?
Those H-1B visas are No, like that have jumped to make content off of a headline that was taken out of context about me, or something that people are framing that I said that wasn't that good. And they jump to make content, they jump to monetize, they jump to get clicks and views without simply just messaging me and asking for clarification, right?
So he's making the point to show how Charlie was actually different. He, like, the way they're trying to paint him as some, like, provocateur and saying things to get rage bait and clickbait. Like, he saw something that Andrew Schultz said in a clip and reached out to him to get clarification.
Yeah, because he probably didn't agree with it, or it sounds...
Or wanted to make sure.
Does he say what...
He never goes into exactly what it is. He never goes into exactly what it is. But if you watch the full interview, he goes into how, like, he really respected that. Like, no, like you said, he has friends that wouldn't even do that.
Friends that he's done stuff for.
Right. That he's helped. And here's this guy, and it just speaks to his character. Here's this guy who doesn't know him at all.
Can I just add to that?
Go ahead.
This is why it's important now, speaking of technology in this time, to have your own voice and be able to speak truth. Because if you're controlled, because guess what? What Andrew Schultz is saying, Van Jones said on CNN.
Exactly.
But
so we see a pattern
then
here.
We see a pattern. But the difference is Andrew Schultz owns his platform. Even though Van Jones said that about Charlie, he's not going to elaborate on the comparison that Schultz is making here about, I have friends that wouldn't even do this very simple, courteous thing that he would. The reason he wouldn't do that is because he can only speak a little bit in reverence of him as a person, but not to honor him, because it's too much for that network.
Yeah.
This is why it's important to own your platform, because if you own your platform and you say you stand for truth, you got to stand for truth all the way around. Now, I don't agree with Schultz and everything, but one thing he does do is he's not known to be a liar.
He tries to be honest about what he thinks.
He tries to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's, even with his comedy, he says, it may not be a truth to you, but it's a truth to me. And we need people like that, because, you see, like you said, because of the way the algorithm is, Charlie Kirk could be a version of whomever you want him to be because of the algorithm. That'll feed you that, right? And so Schultz, who owns his platform, he's telling a story about a person that people already had a preconceived notion to. Now, the
Mhm.
difference is when you're vying for a title, a position in a company that you don't own, even if you wanted to say that, that could be edited out, or you would have to redact that and change it around. So that way you could be polite enough, but you can't speak to their character.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I think with Charles, that's what I think is Schultz, the difference is Schultz has the ability to say, look, here's a comparison about people I know and how they treated me versus somebody who don't know me and how they treated me. You know what I mean?
And he's able to say it like you're saying. He's saying it on a platform. Like, let's face it, a lot of those fans are Charlemagne fans who see Charlie Kirk a certain way. So he's now exposing them to a complete opposite idea from someone that they respect. You know, even
Right.
though they can always just dismiss it as, oh, because he's white, he's saying
Sure.
that. You know, but they're at least being able, and they're seeing that Charlemagne didn't really push back because he has no argument for that. You know.
No. And if Schultz is under the control of a network, him saying that would be edited out, or he would have to come back and change that around a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the importance of being able to have your own.
All right, I got one more clip from him in this moment. I think he goes into the social media, bifurcation.
The Charlie thing is like, even talking about it, it exposed me because I started watching a bunch of his things. He DM'd me before, by the way, Charlie.
Oh,
And
we just
he did
showed
something,
You
and
gonna
I
talk? Or you
jumped to make content off of a headline,
have a different lens, right? And the reason I say that is
simply just messaging me and asking for clarification,
well,
right?
somebody like Charlie has a different lens, right? And the reason I say that is because he's probably a person that they do that to him all the time. So
Bro,
yeah, I get it.
I honestly think, and I know this is like, and again, I understand how radioactive he is, right? Like, there are different. What this whole thing exposed to me is just like how fractured social media has made Americans, but also just like the world.
Oh, it's over.
Because like, no, for real, because think about it, like, there is a different version of Charlie Kirk depending on who you are.
Yes.
And the algorithm will feed you the things that confirm your belief about that person. So if you're a like God-fearing right-wing Christian, you're gonna get all this content about Charlie that speaks to that, about how important family is to him, about how important his Christianity, his beliefs are to him, and you're like, wow, this is a really great man. And then if you're a person that doesn't like conservative rhetoric and you think conservatives are bigots, you're gonna get all of those 30-second clips with no context of all the things that he said. They're like, oh, I don't trust black pilots or whatever the thing is. You're not going to get the whole conversation where that happened. You're not going to get anything that would actually give you nuance. So it's like the algorithm flattens all of us, you, me, Charlie, everybody, into these two-dimensional avatars. And then people watch 4 or 5 clips where people are reacting to that person, and then they go, oh, I guess this is what everybody thinks of that person. And then people feel really confident having these strong opinions on people that they do not know at all.
It's a good take.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time he really spoke on the matter since he's been in Australia filming Street Fighter.
How does Charlemagne? I never heard him talk about Charlie Kirk.
I mean, I think he probably. I haven't heard him like voice his opinion. He has said that it's wild that people are like celebrating it and making fun of it and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But he has said that he said a lot of hateful things, and he mentions all the same stuff that everyone else points out. DEI and such and such. But the fact that he's willing to sit down and talk with Andrew and they won't agree on things or they'll talk about it, and I just like that there's still people there that can have conversations even if they don't agree, and they can still be friends, and they can still not get into this like place where we are now where everyone's at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And Andrew's he's a comedian too, so he's not as easily offended. He's around people who are sarcastic, and we're so sensitive. He has another gear he can tap into, just like Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
they have another gear that they can tap into where they can have conversation without being easily offended. Because if you work on the muscle of offense, that's going to be your strongest weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because that's all you're doing is you're looking for offense, and like you said, the algorithm speaks to what you're looking for. You know what I mean? So that's the sad part.
All right, so let's get into these videos. How long are these, Jake? I didn't really check them out.
You're on mute.
2, 3, 4 minutes.
Okay. All right, cool.
So I think that's good for a leader to say, hey, let's remember, I'm not weighing in on exactly who he was or this or that,
Yes.
but we got to be Christian. Let me remind you about some general principles. So I think you're right about the social media aspect of it. Here's the other part here's something else that's part of it though. We have a very self-centered culture and like me, how does this affect me? Right? And so the question I would ask a lot of Christians, because I think that's what went into it. People who reacted negatively or said crazy stuff because they didn't like him, I get that. And there may be time for that conversation. Right after a tragedy, the question I have for people is, after there's a tragedy, is it necessary to immediately make it about you, your feelings, your narrative, and your primary issue?
Yeah, that's good.
Is that grace?
Yeah.
Right? Because people are saying, well, I didn't like him. He said this about race. Okay, cool. Is this particular moment in the midst of the tragedy about you?
Yeah.
And how you feel about it? I'm not saying that can never be expressed.
Yeah.
But what's the main lesson that we need to get out of this? It wasn't how you felt at the moment. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't how you, if you liked him or not. It's that this was an image bearer whose life was taken for expressing his opinion. Here's what else doesn't justify it. Because what other people say, well, they're doing this and they're doing that, therefore I had to. What your opposition is doing should not be the basis of how you react to something. That doesn't dictate your behavior and your character. And this was a character moment, and a lot of us revealed to ourselves and others what our Christian character was or what level of maturity we were at. I don't care what the other side, if they're doing this or that, how are you as a Christian supposed to respond to somebody dying in this way? I want to have the other conversations because I got a lot of things I could say in disagreement. Was that the moment for me to insert how I felt and what I wanted to get out at that moment?
That's good.
You know, at that time.
That's good.
I think to your point, I think a lot of what some people were feeling, particularly people within marginalized communities, is it felt like just in a sense, where it's, and I'm just painting the picture because hear what we're actually saying and not what you think we're saying. I think for them, there's this person who spews views that make life as a marginalized person more difficult, and therefore it feels just that he was taken because of what he represents. And so I think when they see Christians or pastors or whoever mourn him or grieve him, it can feel like, but they don't do that for us, right? So whether it's George Floyd or Sandra Bland or Philando Castile, whoever, like they don't mourn when someone is killed unjustly. And so it feels like, why are we always being called to be the bigger person? And I think that's some of the dynamic that is at place. And I think in those moments, it's like, that's when I'm going to spiritualize it because it is spiritual. That's when you take that sense of injustice to the Lord. You get what I'm saying? And say, okay, how does the Sermon of the Mount help me work through these difficult feelings? And let me call a friend and work through these difficult feelings. Like if I feel angry, if I feel mad, if I lack empathy, then that is something I need to deal with. And so I'm not invalidating the anger. I'm not invalidating the feeling behind the stuff. But I am saying, I think as believers standing before God, we have to work through that stuff because that will show itself up in other relationships, not just what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems with Christian nationalism is it binds Christianity with America as if they're handed.
So real quick, so what she said there, I think I like it. You know, at least they're taking, or what? Not just her, but him.
Yeah,
it's reasonable.
I like what he said. I think hers.
It's a little.
Hers is a little bit more. You know, no offense, but womany.
Yeah. Womany.
Like,
I've seen this guy. I forget his name.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I can't remember his name right now, and can't really look it up. But he was on Lecrae's podcast too. He's a Democrat.
Okay.
You know, like he's in the political realm.
Okay.
So, and he did a couple times on Lecrae where him and then a Republican were speaking about stuff. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says. Like,
I already hear the words that when Jamie stopped it, he's talking about Christian nationalism.
Yeah,
That's the new thing that they're talking about now.
Well, that's why I wanted to stop it, because I was going to say I kind of agree with some of the stuff they were saying, but then they take it to this is where they take it to this straw man type stuff.
Yeah, because even like what she was saying, what I really didn't agree with was the idea of like, yeah, but what about me? Because he just got done saying like, we always think about what about me, and she went right to that with how people feel in marginalized communities. You know what I mean? When stuff like this happens,
I think she was just, jumping off, like saying that she can understand that's how they feel. But
right, but when
the words she's saying, I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, but no, and even what I was going to get into even more was trying to compare what happened to George Floyd to Charlie Kirk is like insane.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about someone who was a career like criminal. He was in the act of committing a crime when all of that went down. Like he wasn't someone that was just assassinated in front of people for no reason. You know what I mean?
Two don't correlate.
Yeah. So, but I think because of identity, people want to feel like there's a comparison there. Like, do I think George Floyd should have died? No. But what I'm saying is, you can't try to, as a Christian, you have to be. I feel like you should be mature enough to know the difference.
I don't think that she was saying that she feels that way. She's saying the community feels that way. That's what I got out of.
Yeah. I know she wasn't saying she, but what I'm saying is, we shouldn't even be like
entertaining
and placating and trying to empathize with that
right.
idea.
I
mean?
get that. I get that part.
Yeah.
And
Right. And there's another way to look at it too. I mean, I looked at it like this because I have people that I am, I wouldn't say friends anymore, but people that I'm still friends with on Facebook. And I saw a lot of their reaction. And I think it speaks to me. I'm not offended by what their joy in his death. I'm more seeing where they're at in their life. Because this, as much as they're gloating over this is an exposure to where they're at spiritually, mentally, and their maturity level. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's what he was saying too. Like,
right.
For Christians, he was saying
right.
it shows your character.
Yeah.
Right. So even though those people took joy out of that to say, I had nanny boo boo, it speaks a lot more to who they are. And it's a sad thing for me because I'm watching grown adults crash out and get joy out of this. The pleasure that they think they're getting, or the victory that they think they're getting, is more a reflection of the sad state that they're in, which we have to pray for them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a terrible place to be. To be in your 40s and your 30s and or 50s, and your joy is a death and assassination, and the first thing is this is a victory lap for you. Doesn't say anything about Charlie's character as much as you think it does. It says more about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I didn't get offended. Like, yes, I was disappointed, but I wasn't offended at what they were doing, and I felt no need to get on there and tell them about themselves, because I think that's what the enemy wants to do. He wants to use these events, because he doesn't even know that's going to happen. He wants to use these events and stir up emotions that's already there. And that, to me, is when I saw people that I know say that, I feel sorry for them, because it shows more about their level of maturity and their spiritual condition. So that's what I'm saying. Praying for them is the only, because you're not going to reason with that person. That's the unfortunate thing about social media, is to get into a typing war or social media war with people. You could send them all the facts. You could send them anything you want. They're not going to see, because they're trapped. Only thing you can do is see it and expose and pray for them, because they're exposing themselves. They're really exposing themselves. To me, it's what I saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's get into this Christian national conversation. It's about that. See where this goes.
One of the biggest problems with Christian nationalism is it binds Christianity with America as if they're hand in hand. So one thing that does historically is, now if America is really God's promised land, which is almost, the interpretation that you get, then I can't really accept the negative things that America has done. So these are the people that will not accept negative stuff about American history. Objective facts. They'll get mad at objective facts about slavery, Jim Crow and all that, because their idol can't live in the same location as the truth.
Wow.
The light in their idol can't live, so they have to throw out. If you wonder why somebody don't like to talk about history, it just denies it, because their idol can't live there.
Wow.
So that's one of the main problems with it, is it makes that connection. And then once you make this God's country, also when we go to war, we're in the right. So you can justify anything America does because we have that connection, and he brought us here, and now we're just doing kind of his work. Well, we can see how that gets us into trouble. I mean, not even Israel, everything they did was right. In the Bible, everything they did, God said, this is perfect. You're right. No, this is not how it works. So you get this Christianity that really is ideological nationalism, using Christian symbols and all that. And I think that's clearly problematic. Then the people that you've hurt over that history, you almost have to dismiss them.
Wow.
Because otherwise you got to admit, again, that you did something very wrong. And so you might get a small apology, but it's always let's move on.
Yeah.
We can't sit in this because that would compromise our narrative.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think if I'm just I know I've been talking a lot, but I think if I'm being all the way honest, I didn't celebrate Charlie's death. I was sad because I think every human being should have been sad to see somebody die that way. But one of the things that grieved me was seeing so many believers who appreciated Charlie not being able to understand why we might not be as impacted over his death in the same way that you are.
Can I I don't want to reword your language, but I also want to add to your language mid-speech.
Okay, yeah. Help me. Be my helper.
No, to say not only grieving in a way that's distinct, but also grieving, or they misunderstand, why don't you think he's a martyr? And it's like, because I heard what he said.
Yeah. Right.
And so it's not that I don't appreciate his stances on abortion, on sexuality, on marriage, but it's also I hear other things alongside that don't give martyr.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Thank you for clearing, because that's you actually said it way better than I want to say, because I don't want people to hear me saying that, I feel like he deserved it, I wasn't sad. Or I don't even want people to hear me saying, like, I don't think that he was a brother, because it's not my place to put him in heaven or hell, right? I don't think that he denied who Christ was. I think that he said so many good things, whether that was about same-sex marriage, whether that was abortion, whether that was, the deity of Christ and the triune God of Scripture. He said so many fundamental Christian things that I align with. But what I want people to understand is, like, I think sometimes Christian nationalism, not sometimes, most of the times, is so dangerous because it doesn't give people the ability to actually understand what we go through as Black people or what we have been through. So I'll give you an example. When Charlie, I remember watching the conversation when Charlie made the comment about it's Juneteenth today, right? But Juneteenth is not a real holiday, so I'm going to work, right? That might be very, very small to you, but for me, I grew up with a grandmother who I've seen probably cry 7 to 8 times about how she hated the fact that her father came back from this country and still didn't have the right to vote. Yeah. And so when I celebrate Juneteenth, not me saying I hate the 4th of July. It's not even me saying that I hate my country, but it's me recognizing that my grandfather has a different history than your grandfather might have, right? And so I think sometimes when I hear him say that, it was dismissive to my experience. Yep. It was dismissive to my family's experience. And so when he died, I'm going to have a different emotional experience if you never heard anything that he directly said that was offensive to you. Yep. And so I think sometimes we just don't understand that. And I think sometimes what Christian nationalism does, it says, because we love America so much, we love the 4th of July, and so we hate anything that looks different or looks like it's competing with our day. But it's like, no, if 4th of July was given to us for us to remember the past. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why it was literally given to us. If my grandfather has a different past, for you to dismiss how I experienced my grandfather, it's hurtful. And so it's not even about hating him or not thinking that he's a Christian. It's saying, no, maybe Christian nationalism kind of entwined with his theology in such a way that gave him an inability to see all people the way God probably intended. And so that's what I wanted people to understand.
You hit on.
Okay. So, I mean, what I'm getting from that is that they're attaching anybody that believes that America is a Christian nation as being a white person. Because, I mean...
Yes. That's... Because isn't that funny, though? Like,
yeah.
That you can't even, as a Black... They don't even consider that Black people think that way.
Right.
And not even the way they're saying... Because they're twisting even Christian nationalism, right?
Right.
They're making a whole caricature out of it.
White evangelical, sort of racist Christians that dismiss black people.
Dismiss Black people,
yeah.
And there's no sensitivity to the past that they...
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I understand his point about like how people will dismiss Juneteenth. We make fun of Juneteenth all the time because, it's one of those like thrown in there holidays that nobody like, people don't really, it's not taken seriously. But I understand what he's saying. Like, it's a way to acknowledge the past that our families had to go through to get to where we are now, right? But if you're acknowledging it as a victim, that's when it allows for you to be offended by what other people think.
I was
about,
gonna
like,
say that he's talking about being offended.
Right.
That's something that should trigger you
as a Christian,
right. As a believer, for you to work on something.
That's something that's still an area where I need to work
inside of you.
That's allowing me to not see you as a brother, and even the idea of like it's not giving martyr because you said certain things. Like, someone doesn't become a martyr because they did everything perfect. They become a martyr if their death impacts the body of Christ, or if
Well,
it has an
again,
impact.
what
Like,
does martyr mean?
You witness, like you said, it means witness.
Yeah.
But like if their death becomes witness, right, or becomes an impact in a major way, that's a martyr. You can't say, well, he's not a martyr to me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
I
matter.
also think there's a conflation of, like the other guy said it, where you think America's the promised land. Like, you're conflating these things. Whenever we go to war, it's
Yes.
God is behind
All
it.
of that. I was going to mention, like, no one who believes, most of the people that are especially on, and this is the other thing I want to say, like, we need to come up with other terms and stop identifying with these binaries and these social constructs, even calling ourselves conservatives, calling ourselves, right wing and left wing and Republican, Democrat, because we don't fit into any of those boxes anymore. I don't believe that. But because that just allows for people to then put you in these categories like he's doing. But most of the people that are Christians, that are followers of Jesus, that don't believe in what the Democrats are doing and it's totally against what the left is doing, have voted more in the right recently because it aligns more with us. We still don't want America to go to war. Even Trump is against going to war.
Yeah.
Like, so for you to categorize it like, oh, we're fine with it if America goes to war because it's ordained by God, like, that's totally disingenuous.
Yeah.
Something I want to touch on, like, I think that what they're saying and what's going on a lot on the left is that people want to enter into these spaces to be heard more emotionally and to be feel like they have a voice. That's even why it's called marginalization.
Right.
Right? Instead of going into these spaces to actually bring the power of the gospel. And I'm talking about in the Christian sense, because we're supposed to be occupying these spaces, because if we leave these spaces, Christians shouldn't be in politics. Okay, let's leave those spaces. Guess what's going to happen? Other people are going to occupy them, and you're going to see what's going to happen with the laws and everything else, right? We shouldn't. Christians shouldn't be worried about.
Hello, UK.
Yeah, exactly. When we take ourselves out of the spaces, we leave room for other things to come in and take those spaces.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be bringing in when I say gospel, I'm saying that we are supposed to be bringing in our lifestyle as a witness by surrendering ourselves to God into those places. We're not going to do it perfectly. We're not going to do it shiny, but we're going to learn as we go to grow and grow more. Why? Because as we go into these places, we're going to get frustrated with opposition, right? And in that opposition, we learn to turn to the Lord and we grow in that, right? It refines us. We go to the fire and we're getting refined as we turn to the Lord, because in that we know that we can overcome everything. But when we're going in with our emotions and feeling like, I want to be heard, I feel like our voices aren't heard, we're going to prove a part of ourselves that doesn't even matter really in the long run.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that needs to actually die, but we keep trying to bring it to life, right? We keep trying to bring, no, you need to see this, you need to see this, when that stuff don't matter as much. Is that a part of our identity? Yeah, being black can be a part of your identity to a certain extent. But if that supersedes your identity in Christ, well, then we got a problem.
Yeah.
And I think we're putting that first.
We were
a
just
lot
talking
of times.
about that with Puerto Ricans and Bad Bunny.
Exactly. Same thing. I sent you some of those videos, right?
Yeah. We played all of those already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing that was the main thing for me with the whole Bad Bunny thing. It's like, you want to prove yourself. Like with Puerto Rico, we got the Puerto Rican parades. A lot of Puerto Ricans want to prove themselves.
Yeah.
They want to be heard. And
we're
we're
the best Latinos.
Yeah. But I can understand that in our flesh, right?
Yeah.
But as believers, that's not what we lead with.
Yeah.
So that's what I saw from this. I don't know.
Yeah. Y'all do make the best rice, though.
Listen, that's like a island thing. No, Africans do it too. Like who's better, right? Just in general, like what's the best island?
Culture,
What's the best country? Yeah, people are competitive, but it's in-group preference. We talked about all this earlier. We don't need to get back on that.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
In many cases, as I watched Charlie Kirk, he was overly provocative and he was intentionally insensitive to marginalized people. He played about stuff, and we know. I mean, y'all in this game to be provocative. If he wasn't provocative, nobody would.
We were just talking about this. What
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz was saying, because he showed that to not be true. And Van Jones, same thing. But when you're being fed a version of him in your algorithm, that's what you're gonna believe.
That's. I mean, just watching that though, right? Like what's the woman preacher's name?
Jackie
Hill Perry.
Jackie Hill Perry.
Just watches her. Sometimes, but what she said about Charlie just shows me that she don't watch the full length of how she, because they're all offended of how, you know, they think Charlie feels about the black community,
right?
But that's so not true.
Yeah,
he cares about.
They have no idea everything that he's done for the black.
Hold on.
Yeah.
She didn't even know who he was.
Oh wow.
She didn't even know. Her husband did, but she didn't even know who he was. That's
So that's dangerous.
So again, it's
right?
an algorithm thing, right?
Yeah,
bro. But that's dangerous, right? Because she's preaching. You know what I mean?
Well,
like she's leading people, and then you have something to say, and that's what I said about one of our friends who had an opinion on this, but do no research on it at all. You know, she's in a leading position, you know, where she can sway people to think a certain way.
Well, I will say
think
on
that's
her behalf, though.
What's that?
On her behalf, she did say she went and researched him and watched him. Now, I don't know to what extent, obviously, but just giving her that, like, and I get when you can hear some things and you can get offended. I can understand that. For me, I like watching the whole thing. Like, I watched their whole podcast.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I want to see exactly what they're saying. I want to highlight when they said some good stuff. That's why I played the thing at the beginning. Because nobody's wrong all the time. Like, you can talk to anybody. You know, like, what do they say?
Nobody's right all the time, you mean?
No.
You mean a broken clock is right?
No,
twice?
I mean nobody's wrong all the time.
Were you about to say a broken clock
Yes.
is right
Yes.
twice a day?
Yeah. Yes. So I always try to look for some kind of like, okay, I like why they think that way, what's going on, and I've followed Jackie Hill Perry for a while, so
we've played her on here before.
understand.
She said some things that I agree with. You know, she talked about Beyonce. You know.
Yeah, but I also know how long it took her to get there.
Right.
Which for me seems so obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like it took her a while to get there.
Right.
Where she was prideful in that before.
Yeah.
And I think in this, allow.
I think
our
especially for Black Christians, it's sad to say, but that is something that they really, really struggle to get over, that hurdle of racism, slavery, the Black identity, and reconciling that with the fear of the Lord. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
can we go to the next one? Because you guys basically talked about it's gonna be the same. So let's go to Lecrae.
Okay, I got you. Now, I saw a clip. Is this going to be in there where Lecrae had a dream about Charlie Kirk?
Yep, that's the first one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was one of the unfortunate people who saw the video popped up as I was researching. I went to bed that night, and I believe I was in Zimbabwe at the time. We left Zimbabwe, got to South Africa. I went to bed that night, and in the middle of the night, I woke up with severe stomach cramp, and I thought to myself, "Oh shoot, I might have gotten some kind of foodborne virus, or who knows what happened." And
Drink
so
that water,
I'm like, man. As I wake up, and I'm hesitant to say this because this is not like I'm not that type of person. As I wake up, I had a vision. I'm awake. It's not a dream. It's literally like my mind is overtaken by a vision. It was like the room turned purple, and the room turns purple, and I see Charlie Kirk being assassinated, blood, you know, coming out of his body. And I heard what to me was the voice of demons laughing. And, you know, it was like in an instant, and then it was like the curtain closed and then the room went back to regular color, and it freaked me out. I'm not saying that because I had the dream that, you know, Charlie was a martyr. I'm not saying that because I had the dream that, you know, I have the full understanding of it all. I just know I had a crazy, not dream, vision, because I was awake. I've never had this experience in my life. What I believe it was an acknowledgement that this is not just a physical fight, that there's spiritual warfare going on. And it was like God opened up the curtains for me to see behind the scenes. The scripture says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and darkness. And it was like God opened up the curtains for me to see behind the scenes, like, oh, there's a spiritual battle happening back here. Now, I don't have an interpretation of what that means. I don't have an interpretation of exactly like why I had the dream or what God wanted me to get from it, other than to realize this was spiritual. Freaked me out because I come from a pretty theologically conservative background, and that type of stuff just doesn't happen. But this also is happening the day after I'm talking to a very conservative pastor in Africa who's telling me that the supernatural occurrences in this continent are just more frequent because people are used to it, because people are not objective, because we're not, you know, it's a norm. People use witch doctors and see, you know, practice sacraments, and there's lots of syncretism that happens. And so it happened to me while I was there, and I was open to it because I had this conversation with this man. So the next day I did post a video and I said, hey, I have to process it. There's smarter people about the subject of Charlie Kirk than me. I don't understand what he meant to the culture. I don't understand why he was killed. I don't understand the spiritual implications of what's happening. So I got to process. And as I've processed, some things are clear, some things are not. I'll tell you what's clear. What's clear is that we're dead in the middle of a culture war, and the enemy is having a field day. Left versus right, red versus blue, progressives versus conservatives. And oftentimes Christians are told to pick a side.
Dude, this is so crazy. We were just and I just was saying how we got to stop falling into those boxes, man. Yeah. Like, I've been feeling this in my spirit for like 6 months. Like stop even calling yourself a conservative. Yeah. Stop calling yourself, like, stop identifying with the right. Stop, like, you know what I mean? Like, stop doing that, because none of that is true. These are false, pretty much like little boxes that you force yourself into. And we got to stop doing that, because all we are is followers of Jesus. Mm-hmm. And whatever lines up with that is what lines up with that. Whatever doesn't line up with that is what we don't do. And that's where it ends. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
In the midst of this. Or they're told that there's only one side in the midst of this. And if you're not on that side, you may not even really be a Christian. I think this is problematic in a lot of ways. And I think that we haven't really wrestled with this in a healthy way. And the enemy wins. This idea of culture war came from a book that came out in like 91, talking about, you know, Nietzsche's views on, you know, resentment and tension. And in this book, there's mention that people will be so diametrically opposed to each other's views that violence would ensue. Like, people will think that I so much disagree with you that violence would ensue. And that's one of the things that I believe it's back to Cain and Abel. It's that I'm so upset at what's happening here that my only result is to eliminate you. What did Jesus do when he was persecuted? He said to pray for your enemies. He said, blessed are those who are persecuted for my name's sake. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, curse those who persecute us.
Kill them.
Fight them. Go to war against them. And it makes us look crazy as the church when we're jumping on the bandwagon of a culture war. God has not called us to pick a team, right? He's called us to be a community within the chaos that points people to a different way. Like, the challenge is that some of us believe that we're here on earth. The church is here on earth. And I don't know where you'll find this in scriptures. If you find it, let me know. Some of us believe that the church is here on earth to literally create a sustainable utopia on the planet. Like, we're here to change this culture to a utopian Christian nation. I don't see that. Like, Jesus didn't come to do that while he was here. But you will see in the scriptures that Jesus calls his church to look like him in the midst of the chaos, to be a picture of something distinct and alternative and challenging, but in a loving way. The Christian way is not to crush your enemies and to war against them. The Christian way is to invite, is to welcome. It's to say, hey, we don't agree, but let me show you a better way.
Well, doesn't that sound like what Charlie Kirk was doing?
Yeah, that's what he was trying to do.
Doesn't that sound like what his approach?
Yeah.
But I think Lecrae, as he goes on, he's falling into the same Christian nationalist trap, the seven mountains. I don't know if you know the seven mountain theology, you know, like Have you ever heard of that?
I don't know what that is.
Like occupying the 7 mountains, education, medical, family. It's like media. Yeah, all these different. This is something that somebody had a vision about, and they talk about this a lot. But they take it. A lot of Christians like him that are more like he's more like reformed.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying like so. That's the things he's saying is kind of lines up more with reform. Like that's the guy who died, MacArthur.
Okay.
Right? More reform type. So they don't really believe in that kind of stuff. They like think, oh, these Christians are trying to take over. Like that's what they believe. And that's not what they believe. So even what he's saying, he's kind of going into that. If you don't know how he sees things in his theology, you won't know that.
And that's where and don't get me wrong, there are certain sects that do think that way. Like when you look at a Nick Fuentes or some of these like more
far right,
far right groypers and these extremist views, like they do believe that. But you can't try to pin that on everybody. There's
not many.
Yeah.
That's not an actual.
It's a straw man.
That's a very
like you
small.
were saying.
It's a very small minority.
It's a straw man argument, like you were saying earlier.
Right. So I just so when we were listening, we gotta know where he's coming from a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I agree with what he's saying, but then like I also know where he comes from in his theology and his framing.
Okay.
So keeping that in mind.
Right.
Does he talk about the Islam takeover?
Yeah, we don't hear much about that. I don't think.
Is there a word for that? Islam nationalists?
Islamic. It's called Dearborn, Michigan.
There is a word for that. It's called jihad.
Yeah, that is true.
Jihad.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Let me extend to you the opportunity to see how this can be different. And I'm not saying there's not room to push back on things. The kingdom says, even if you're persecuted, you're blessed. The empire says, win the election or lose everything. Right? The kingdom says every tribe, every tongue, every nation will bow. The empire says, make everybody like us. The kingdom says we should unify. The empire says we need to be uniform. And when you're participating in a culture war, in the way that the culture is, you're acting like the empire and not like the kingdom. Right? I think we think prayer is for weaklings. I think we think prayer is this like dismissive, uninvolved form of battle. When God himself says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual, how do you fight demonic powers? What do you have? What do you think you can do? Like you need supernatural power to fight supernatural. You're going to have to call on the power of the Spirit, the power of God. So I think we dismiss prayer. Prayer is important.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah. Like even to the point where like when you're in conversation, even sometimes with Christians, and you say that like, yeah, we need to pray. It's almost like eye rolls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like
because people don't even understand what that means.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know that there's actual power there. You take it like, oh, even the left says it, thoughts and prayers, they always say thoughts and prayers. Like they don't know what it means.
They mock it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree with what he's saying there.
Very important part of the battle in this culture war that a lot of us are embroiled in. Like, how do we engage the culture war? We pray. We pray. Prayer transforms things. I'm a product of prayer. We speak truth. We don't water down the scriptures. We don't back away from what we know is true. Hey, we believe abortion is killing children. We say that. But we don't burn people at the cross because they disagree with us on it. We don't do that. We serve. Right? What do? What we're doing, unfortunately, is we're choosing sides in a culture war. Right? That's what we're doing. And I have to ask, are we supposed to? Right? Is that the way of Jesus? Should Christians be involved? Obviously, we should be involved in society and involved in decisions that affect our nation. But what exactly does that look like, and how do we go about it? Do we fight with the weapons of the empire? Do we smash our enemies? Or do we embody the kingdom of Jesus, who fights completely differently? The kingdom of Jesus doesn't look like the left or the right, regardless of what people may say. It looks like Christ. You got Pilate, who Jesus says, you know what? My kingdom's not of this world. Like, listen, if it were, my servants would fight, but this isn't my kingdom. I don't think we can say that. I think we struggle with saying my kingdom's not of this world, right? We're saying that, no, This nation is our kingdom in some senses. And I'm not saying you don't protect the nation and protect the people within it. What I am saying is that you cannot, the nation is the empire. You cannot exalt empire over nation. Empire wants uniformity. Kingdom wants unity. Empire,
I don't think that's true. That right there. Like, you can take, the way I see America is that a lot of its founding in terms of ideology is biblically based. The idea of freedom, free speech, these things are biblically based. The idea of defending yourself with arms, right?
Yeah.
Because that's biblically based. So my point is that whatever they in this nation, the foundations are there, and if they come from a place that you can bring it back to life, what does that mean? What does this actually mean? Or you can twist it and pervert it, and freedom and rights become something totally different. Then we're talking about trans rights.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Trans people have the same rights as us. So what are they talking about? They're not, it's not the same thing. It becomes perverted. It becomes corrupted. So when you want something to stay true, you have to seek the truth, right? Jesus said, "You are my if you abide in my word, you are my disciple. You'll know the truth. The truth will set you free." Right? Who the Son sets free is free in reality, or else your reality is going to become perverted. So this is where I don't agree with him, because if we don't have hope for this country, in terms of God showing us, this is what you can work with here. This is what I've given you. This is the places that, like, even think about Independence Day versus Juneteenth. If I'm not saying we can't acknowledge Juneteenth, but what I'm saying is, and I think this is where Charlie was, they're trying to replace it. A lot of people were trying to, like, that's not our Independence Day. But you don't understand what you're missing out on.
Or what you're rejecting.
Exactly. Well, if you're rejecting it, you're missing out on it, right? It can't do nothing for you.
Right.
So you don't understand what God has given you in that place that you can bring to life as a believer, right? All these things that God has, it's like things that are buried in the ground, and there's gold there, or there's treasure, but you got to go look for it, but it's there in your land, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have, who are you trusting in? If God says, I've put stuff there, right? I've given you what you need, but you got to go find it. You got to go dig deep for it, right? You're going to be able to find that stuff, but the problem is we are, oh, there's nothing there. This land, it's horrible. Like, see what we're doing? We're complaining.
Yep.
We're whining.
Yep.
And we were never free. America was never great. Like, when were we ever great? Like, all these things.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. You're turning stuff into, and then it becomes, as Christians, oh, we shouldn't care about this country. We should care more about doing stuff in the country, and trying to get, I'm trying to think of the right word. We should be looking at how we're marginalized and trying to get equity, right?
Yeah, right.
But
or reparations.
Well, any of that stuff. But if we go back to the beginning, again, when was this country founded, right? On what principles? What does the Constitution say? What does the Declaration of Independence say, right? And in that, we can bring those words to life through Christ, right? Because really, if these words were brought forth, okay, God, how can you work with what was brought forth? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we can bring God into that, but if we think there's nothing there for us, there's no life. We can't bring life there. And that's my biggest issue, is that when we turn away, right? This country is nothing. We're slaves. We're brought here as slaves. It's nothing. There's nothing here for us. We're just here, and we got to figure out how to live here. That's hopeless.
Yeah.
Or when it's like, no, God did something here. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. God used people. Yeah, they weren't perfect, right? But he
Right.
used people here. How can we take what he's done and then bring it to perfection through Christ?
Yeah, man. I mean, and then talking about nations and empires and stuff like that, like that's all throughout the Bible.
Yeah.
God talking about nations and empires and building kingdoms, like that's all throughout the Bible. So it is biblical.
Yeah. And I think that's what people are going to do. That's the nature of fallen man.
Mm-hmm.
Fallen man's going to do that. But that's why the church is so important in what it's called. What is the church? It's ecclesia, right?
Yep.
So the ecclesia is a government, right, that meets together and agrees on things. Whatever you loose on heaven will be loosed on earth, right?
Yep.
Or whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. We're learning how to agree with the right things and how to reject the wrong things. We're learning how to discern between good and evil. If we accept evil and call evil good, which is what we do a lot of times and we don't even know it,
Mm-hmm.
then we're going to allow these things into our life and we think they're good. That's what the devil wants. He's looking to make us think that what is good is evil and what is evil is good. And then we accept these things into our lives. And then we reject the things that God is like, no, I'm trying to get you to see this. I'm trying to get you to see that I've already placed things and you just got to look for them to raise them up, right? From the dead.
Yep. All right, you want to continue playing this?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Anything for uniformity. You're going to be Romans. You're going to speak like we want you to speak, act like we want you to act. You're going to comply, or it's off with your head. That's what the empire does. Kingdom says we want unity. We want every nation, every tongue, every tribe to have, their unique voices and views, but functioning in a way that is God honoring. I mean, you got Jesus talking to the crowds who says, "Render to Caesar what's his." Like, give him his stuff. Jesus is not patriotic to Rome, and he doesn't satisfy Rome's patriotism, and he doesn't satisfy the Pharisees' hatred of the powers of Rome when he says, "Render to Caesar what's Caesar's." Well, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on, Jesus? My Father's side. I think in the empire, the logic there is to secure power, is to control the narrative, is to silence your enemies, and is to win at all costs. It's win, win, win. What a lot of Christians say as far as getting involved in a culture war, the example they use is Jesus turning over tables, right? He's a table flipper. That's what he'd do. But those weren't Rome's tables, right? Jesus had some harsh critiques, but that's when he was cleaning house. That's when he was dealing with his own. And that's what we don't do in the culture war. You rarely hear people critique their own and say, no, we're messing up here. We got to cut that out, right? We're not going to be violent. We're not going to be arrogant. We're not going to be divisive. We're not going to be hateful. We're going to be caring and we're going to be loving. You don't hear us challenging ourselves that way, right? We're trying to challenge the other.
Huh?
I think he's wrong there.
I was thinking that as he's saying it. Like, I've seen people actively speaking out against this all the time.
Yeah.
I definitely see people saying we can't be violent. We can't resort to violence. We can't resort to, not moving like Christians. Yeah. So
I think we have been challenging. We have been challenging the culture even within the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the problem is that you see what's rising up because of that. And yeah, you're going to get people who are more like connected to their flesh side of offense and, where they're going to get offended and they're going to want to lash out. You got the whole black fatigue or, these stupid fatigue things that people are coming up with.
Mm-hmm.
Which only causes more division.
Yep.
So yeah, that stuff's gonna happen, and you can't stop that from happening, but you can stand on the truth, and I think there's been a lot. I think that's what Charlie Kirk was literally doing.
Yeah.
If you look at his the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the divisiveness in that?
Right.
I didn't really hear. If you watch, I watched the whole thing. Where was the device?
You're talking about coming from the event? The divisiveness
Yes.
was coming
Yes.
from the outside.
Yeah.
Coming from the speakers, I'm saying.
The most you could give it to was Trump being Trump, you know, when he would talk about, you know, the radical left, and when he said, "I hate my enemies."
Yeah. But he was giving credit to Charlie. Charlie said, "Love your enemies."
Yeah.
Well, I don't. I hate my enemies.
And I don't want the best for them.
It was being funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. The main gist of the entire memorial was giving honor to Christ.
Yeah.
Literally, Erica coming out there talking about forgiveness, actually challenging men and women to be prepare themselves to be husbands and wives. You know, like that was the sentiment of the entire event.
They were praising for hours. It was just praise and worship for hours.
So where was the stuff he's talking about? Or even
I see it more in the other churches that were critical, that were, you know, spewing the rhetoric that we've been talking about. I see it more there, what he's talking about.
And I do see one thing that I have an issue with, where people are writing a lot of YouTube creators like, why haven't you said something about Charlie Kirk? Like, I think, you know, people, that stuff is uncalled for.
Yeah,
right?
and it's not necessary.
That's emotional.
Yeah.
You know?
I demand you speak about this topic. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. You definitely see that this moment, this is why it's like when people say, oh, you can't stop trying to make him a martyr. Like, no one, like this moment has impacted everything. This moment has shifted something. It's awakened something. It's revealed so many things. Like, there's no stopping it at this point. And that's why these conversations are happening. That's why people are having visions like he had. I saw other people talking about dreams that they had. We're watching all these people come to church for the first time talking about they got had an encounter with Jesus, like people that didn't even believe in God. You know, like, so to me, it's like there's no denying what's happening here. We just got to stay in prayer. That's why I asked all of y'all where you see this country headed, because I knew all of y'all were going to say we need to pray. And it's funny how they mentioned later on in the conversation that people don't want to pray, but we're trying to put that message out there that it's important. This nation needs it. We need to constantly get people refocused and point them back to Jesus, man, because all of this other rhetoric, this divisiveness, this trying to stir everyone up into hating each other, that's the only way we're going to counteract this. But, man, I want to... Go ahead, Jake.
Can you play the one clip I gave you from X?
Yes, the one with the girl preaching?
Yeah, just because it kind of gives you a context. Because I think a lot of people, even when I was listening to Jackie Hill Perry talk about the martyr thing, I think people don't even have context to understand why Charlie Kirk was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Because
they don't.
we put it in the wrong type of context.
Right. Or they put the framing around it that makes sense to them. Like he was doing it just like the one guy said, he was doing it to be provocative and to be, to get clicks and stuff. Mm-hmm. All right. So this will be a great way to wrap up. We'll play this clip and then call it a night. Here we go. Pull it up, Mom, please. It's okay.
If you're a Christian, you got to watch this.
Stop calling this man a martyr. He was killed for his political beliefs. Some people think that being a martyr has to do with the location of your ministry. Charlie was just preaching in college campuses, talking to students. Do you somehow believe that makes him not someone who is fulfilling the call of God on his life? Just take a look at this. Acts 19 is describing the ministry of Paul in Ephesus. He gets the disciples reasoning daily in the hall of Tyrannus. And this continued for 2 years so that all the residents of Asia heard the word of the Lord. The hall of Tyrannus was a Greek school where people would go, like a college today, to learn intellectual topics and to debate what is true. And Paul says, I'm going to spend the next 2 years debating every every single day with all of these unbelievers. Does that remind you of anybody? Oh, Charlie Kirk wasn't a martyr because he was out doing things in schools and colleges. Hello? He was doing the work of the Lord. He was imitating Paul. You know what, Paul? It's not very Christ-like of you to debate. You know, Paul did not spend those 2 years. We wouldn't have verse 10. Because of this, all the residents of Asia heard the word of the Lord, but Jews and Gentiles, if Paul kept the message in the synagogues, all of Asia would not have heard the truth of the gospel. I wonder how many atheists and transgenders, people who hate God, heard the truth because of Charlie Kirk, because he went out into colleges and universities preaching the truth relentlessly every single day. And we need to pick up the mantle and take the word of God out into the Gentile culture. God didn't give us the word of God to keep in the four walls of the church. How many pastors, if Paul was to have gotten assassinated for causing controversy among the Greeks, how many pastors would have stayed silent?
I saw that video.
Yeah. I mean, she made some points there. Yeah. All right, guys, let's wrap it up there. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, if you want to support this type of conversation, this type of community, head on over to the Patreon. Link is in the description. If you want to just donate to the cause, CashApp is in the description as well. Don't forget, you can get merch on our store, which is in the description. Show coming up. Come see us live. City Winery, Philadelphia, November 1st. It's going to be a great show, and we're excited about it. citywinery.com/Philadelphia. Get your tickets there now. Appreciate everybody. See you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people.